This is the new Gram from LG. It's one of the lightest, most powerful laptops on the market. And if you're an avid watcher of the channel, then you already know that I reviewed the Gram lineup highly in the past. And spoiler alert, this new model improves on some of the shortcomings I noted in my previous videos. But is it worth it? Let's jump right into the review. So the 15-inch model I have here features an 8th gen Intel processor, 16 gigs of DDR4 RAM, and a total of 1TB M.2 storage with a 1080p touchscreen IPS display. With a retail price of $2,000, it's definitely aiming for a certain group of individuals. However, they do have other models starting at just $1,100. The build is comprised of magnesium alloy, the same material as last year's model, but it does feel sturdier around the keyboard and trackpad area. The display does have a good amount of flex, which is to be expected with the Gram being so thin. And LG likes to flex on their website by showcasing the 7 industry tests that the laptops have passed. And I have to admit, it's pretty impressive. The Gram is tested against shock, pressure, extreme low and high temperatures, and the list goes on. To boil the numbers down, I feel confident throwing this in a bag and going on with my day, something that is surprisingly hard to find in any laptop that shares similar dimensions. Connectivity is an area that has been improved when compared to last gen. It's mostly the same, but they did give us an extra USB 3.0 port, up from 2 from last year's. We also got a single HDMI port, Kingston lock, an audio jack, and a micro SD card slot. But this year, the USB-C port is also Thunderbolt compatible. Finally, it works great with higher resolution monitors, but where I see Thunderbolt really coming into play is when you want to attach an external graphics card. It makes the laptop the perfect solution for me when I'm on the road and I still want to edit videos and even put on a few games. Another area of improvement is the battery life. They've increased the battery size from 60 Wh to 72 Wh, which gave me a considerably higher score in the PCMark Workbench when compared to the last year's model. My typical day with the Gram will start at 9 AM and consist of a lot of emails, Word documents, media consumption, and web browsing. At the end of the day, around 9 PM is when I would usually run out of juice. The screen is the same as last year's, but that's not to say it's bad. It still gets bright at around 390 nits, which I also found was good enough to use outdoors. It also has great viewing angles with no noticeable color shift or banding. The display is also touchscreen, which is a great addition. The touchscreen feature is really nice and I still prefer it over the trackpad because of its accuracy. I find myself using that a lot more when scrolling through my Twitter timeline and long pages. The 1080p resolution is nothing mind-blowing, but for the 15-inch panel, it's plenty sharp. And with its moderately vibrant colors, I found it great for enjoying content, but I wouldn't rely on this for any professional photo work unless you calibrate it. The camera gets you 720p recording at 30 FPS, and finally LG has moved the camera from the bottom to the top of the screen. And because of this, you get a normal viewing angle compared to what I like to call the up the nose angle from last year's Gram. Unfortunately though, the speakers take away from the whole media consumption aspect as they are located on the bottom and they are firing downwards. I'm guessing they went with this design because of the constraints due to how thin and light the laptop is. But unfortunately, the end result is subpar audio quality. It's tinny and doesn't have much of a sound profile. It does get reasonably loud, but again, it's impacted by the surface. So if the laptop is laying on anything that isn't a flat surface, for example like a carpet, then the sound just gets more muffled. However, the headphone jack does have DTS, which stands for Digital Theater System, and it sounds so much better when listening through headphones. It's really a must when you're using this laptop in noisy environments or if you just want better sound quality. The keyboard is mostly the same as far as I can tell. It's still backlit, which is great. The keys are spaced out evenly for comfort, and there's very little travel distance with great feedback. There is also a numpad cramped to the side, which is a must-have for me. I don't care how cramped or tiny the numbers are, as long as there's a numpad on the laptop, I am happy. Now the trackpad uses Windows Precision drivers, so it's very accurate. One thing they did add is the fingerprint reader that's located underneath the power button, which I absolutely love. Logging in has been a breeze and it's very accurate as well. I think it didn't recognize my finger just once out of the entire time I've been using it this past week. And finally, let's get into the performance. Given the size of the machine, I was surprised it was able to run games at 1080p at decent frames. I did have to use low settings, but still, for something this small, it's impressive. Lowering the resolution down to 720p made the games more enjoyable with higher frames. But with that said, this laptop's main purpose should not be for gaming. We've also included Premiere Pro rendering tests in here if you guys plan on doing light video production. We rendered out a 1 minute and 5 minute 1080p files for your reference in case you want to compare them to your current laptop or PC. The fans rarely kick up, and when they do, you can barely hear them. LG has done a fine job on the cooling solution for the Gram lineup. The LG Gram has a lot of things going for it. It's thin and light, all while packing in some decent performance and a full day battery life. But with that said, the price is a little steep for what you are getting, especially if you get the maxed out one that I have in the video for $2,000. If you don't plan on using the touchscreen or don't care about the fingerprint reader, then there are more affordable options starting at just $1,100. And honestly, that would be my personal recommendation for anyone looking for a powerful, thin laptop with incredible battery life. LG is currently running a campaign where you can enter for a chance to take home a 13-inch LG Gram or a $50 Amazon gift card, and all you guys have to do is participate on any of their social media channels. You can increase your chances of winning by participating in all three, but the choice is yours. I'll drop a link to their socials down below, as well as a link to the laptop if you guys want to check it out. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.